Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Pragna Chigurapati. I'm a consultant breast surgeon from AIG Hospitals in Hyderabad. The Synodar 1, the preservation of axillary lymph nodes compared to complete dissection in T1, T2 breast cancer patients presenting with 1 to 2 metastatic sentinel lymph nodes. It is a multi-center randomized trial. So what do we know so far? De-escalating the extent of breast surgery and the associated morbidity is the focus of breast surgery. Post-Acazox Z11 era saw a trend of de-escalation with a rise in sentinel lymph nodes. However, this study had limitations, and it included a predominant number of micrometastatic diseases. Similarly, the IVSCG 2301 and AATRM, which were both prospectively conducted, had micrometastatic sentinel lymph nodes. Whereas the retrospective audit conducted at Tata Memorial Hospital showed that our patient cohort was quite different from those presented in the above studies. When it came to the grade of the tumor, the tumor size, and the fact that we present with a lot more of macrometastatic disease compared to 45% micrometastatic in the Acazox Z11. Also, because we had 31.84% additional lymph nodes in axillary lymph node dissection, it may not be appropriate to apply the results of the Acazox Z11 to our general population. So where does this leave us? The Synodar 1 trial is a prospective non-inferiority multicenter randomized study to assess the therapeutic role of axillary dissection in patients undergoing either a BCS or a mastectomy for early breast cancer tumors with 1 to 2 macrometastatic sentinel lymph nodes. Patients above the age of 40 and under the age of 75 with early breast cancer with 1 to 2 sentinel lymph nodes with macrometastatic disease were randomized into two groups, the standard and the experimental arm. The experimental arm was no axillary treatment, but adjuvant therapy alone, whereas the standard treatment was axillary dissection plus adjuvant treatment. The primary endpoint was overall survival, and the secondary endpoint was DFS. The sample size that they calculated towards the end was 889, and the non-inferiority margin was 4%, and the study was powered at 80%. At the end of April 2020, 889 patients were randomized, 443 in the standard arm and 440 in the experimental arm. The one positive thing that you should know in this study is that in those who underwent an axillary lymph node dissection, positive non-sentinel lymph node biopsies were 193, that is 44%. The follow-up was a median of 33.3 months in the standard arm and the 34.5 months in the experimental arm. There were around 16 events in the standard arm and 20 in the experimental arm, with one axillary recurrence in both the arms. The results were that there were no statistically significant differences in the terms of survival or recurrence in both the arms. So the author concluded that the conditions of uncertainty that justified the randomization between complete axillary dissection and omission no longer exist. The core team of breast unit expressed a favorable opinion on the proposal to include in the internal guidelines the omission of complete axillary dissection. So my comments on this study would be the Synodar 1 trial and the Tata Memorial audit did have macrometastatic disease more than the micrometastatic disease. Although there are a few similarities in both the subsets of patients, in terms of hormone receptors and the tumor size, we need more data to term these patients as truly high risk. We also need data on TNBC and HER2 positive subsets of patients, as we see around 30 to 40% of them in the Indian setting. A point that you should note is that despite 44% non-SLN metastasis in the axillary lymph node dissection group, there were no differences between axillary recurrences, RFS, or OS. Although these results are encouraging to de-escalate axillary surgery, we need a longer follow-up. And if systemic therapy would suffice to prevent recurrences, it's yet to be ascertained. The follow-up is around 34 months, at which point the events would not be expected to be high, more so in hormone receptor positive tumors. So it would be interesting to see the long-term data. The take-home message would be that the data in the Synodar 1 trial look more promising than Acazox Z11 with regards to the Indian data, but there are certain limitations, and careful patient selection is mandatory. Results from the INSEMA, the QUASNOC, CIRC, and the CENOMAC trials are awaited. The patient-reported outcomes for the intergroup sentinel MAMA study, the INSEMA study, persistent impact on axillary surgery on arm and breast symptoms in early breast cancer. What do we know so far? Studies such as the NSABP BO4, IBSCG studies showed a high local regional control rate without ALND. Sentinel node lymph node biopsy alone showed better quality of life results compared to an axillary dissection. Approaches including early detection by screening, tumor biology, more effective systemic therapy, basis of treatment being tumor markers, and gene profiling emphasize the need for re-evaluating the current standard of care. We have studies in older women with low risk, that is ER positive and clinically node negative tumors treated with tamoxifen, those who have shown better quality of life results without an accelerated dissection and no difference in survival. This data was justified to omit an SLNB in the same group of patients. What about the younger group of patients? Currently, studies are launched with the aim of omission of sentinel lymph node in selected younger group of patients with recurrence and survival being the primary outcomes. So the design of the INSAMA study was to clinically node negative above the age of 18, T1, T2, that is equal to or less than 5 centimeters, planned for BCS and postoperative irradiation, were randomized into two groups in a ratio of 1:4, that is no sentinel node versus sentinel node. In those patients whom the sentinel node was negative, there was no further surgery. If it was equal to or more than 4 involved sentinel lymph nodes, they underwent an axillary lymph node dissection. Whereas those patients in which 1 to 3 nodes were involved on sentinel node were again randomized into sentinel node alone versus a completion axillary lymph node dissection. The primary objective for the first randomization was a disease-free survival, that is between no sentinel node and sentinel node, whereas the secondary objectives were disease-free survival between the sentinel node alone and completion axillary lymph node dissection. Also, the quality of life. The PROMs were assessed at the baseline and 1, that's pre-surgery, and post-surgery at 1, 3, 6, 12, 18 months after finally axillary surgery using the EORTC Q30 and its breast cancer module. The questionnaire. Higher scores of C30 should indicate better functioning and global health status, whereas the BR23 showed worse symptom severity. And a difference of equal to or more than 5 points were considered as clinically meaningful difference. Post-operatively, all the patients underwent whole breast radiation, and ipsilateral axillary region was not included in the clinical target volume. Comparison of baseline characteristics were almost equal in both the randomizations, but one thing which I should point out is that most of the tumors were less than 2 centimeters, and the grade were grade 1 to 2, which is quite a comparison to our Indian subset. Most of the patients in this study were also ER-PR positive, nearly around 98%, and HER2 negative. So the results of the study, the first randomization, which is no SLNB versus SLNB, showed no significant differences in the global health status or the functional scores or a body image. However, there were significant differences for the breast and arm symptoms favoring the no sentinel lymph node group in post-baseline assessments. Whereas second randomization, that is a sentinel lymph node versus a completion axillary dissection group, there were no relevant differences either for the global health score or functional scales or body image. However, there were significant and clinically meaningful differences only for the arm symptoms scores favoring the sentinel lymph node group in the post-baseline assessments. Now, taking the arm symptoms specifically into consideration, such as the pain in arm or shoulder, swelling in the arm or the hand, arm mobility, which was limited or not, the first randomization, no sentinel group did better than the sentinel lymph node. And in the second randomized group, the sentinel lymph node biopsy alone did better than the axillary lymph node dissection. So the authors concluded that this is the first randomized trial investigating the omission of sentinel lymph node in the clinical node negative patients and the first to report the quality of life data. Patients with no SLNB had improved breast and arm symptoms compared to those with SLNB, and those who underwent an SLNB had better arm symptoms and functioning scores compared to the completion axillary lymph node dissection. The disease-free survival data is yet to be released at the end of 2024. So my comments on this are, current studies are focusing on de-escalation of surgery in the axilla. Although the quality of life is better in those patients with an SLNB alone or no SLNB, we need further studies to omit SLNB as such. The studies such as the SOUND trial, the BOOG, and the INSEMA showing the disease-free survival study as a primary outcome are awaited. Although the nodal status has been losing relevance as a criterion for adjuvant systemic therapy decision-making, it is established or undergoing further investigation as a guide for adjuvant radiotherapy. So we cannot negate it completely. If we have to use the accuracy of axillary ultrasound and FNAC versus an SLNB, we cannot use this either because of the high false negative rates. However, the patient characteristics in the study are very different from the Indian scenario. So would we be justified in using this data to treat our patients and not stage the axilla? Maybe in a very, very selected group of patients and extensive counseling is required. So the take-home message would be currently a sentinel lymph node biopsy is the standard of care in clinically node negative patients, and an SLNB may be avoided in a very selective group of low-risk patients. We are now at early stages of efforts to evaluate the omission of axillary surgery, potentially to improve the quality of life. Much work is needed before we can justify the omission of sentinel node biopsy for women of all ages with early breast cancer. There isn't a one-size-fits-all approach. Recommendation for individual patients will need to be customized. Thank you.